All right.
All right. Well, this is nice.
Yes, I decided to go back to the original set.
Which is good. I mean, I like the original set. Sometimes, like with the chroma key and the fake background, it's just whatever it's gonna be, I guess.
So we, excuse me. So are we on?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. This is my theme song, as you know. And usually all the months I've been doing this, I'm just playing these songs while people talk. And we just talk about whatever comes up. It's impromptu,
Okay.
So thanks for doing it. I'll introduce you in a moment.
Okay.
I must have done this hundreds of times in my lifetime. I'm concluded. In the conclusion here, like what I do on your show. There you go. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another segment of Asaph Cafe. And this time on my right, I'm sorry, on my left, we
You're
have
right.
Mr. Scott Ranf, right? I pronounced that
Yes.
correctly? And he is the anchor and the host of Wake Up Missoula. And you can tell the audience about some of the other things you do here at the MCAT studio.
Well, I do a lot of shooting and a lot of editing for the
Uh-huh.
Missoula Community Access Television station that we're on right now. And people request MCAT to do shoots for them, and we go do shoots for them, like what we did with your Lawrence Welk.
Yeah, I'm very appreciative for that too. Because of that, I told you PBS picked that up, and if I get the funding, we'll be able to do that
Cool.
show on a weekly basis. And I've contacted organizations like the Ford Foundation, the John and Catherine MacArthur Foundation, the Paul Newman Foundation, and just a bunch of others. But it's just too early at this point because it's only a few months old, and if we get this project going, I'm looking at maybe 2016 as far as it airing, because I want to spend this year filming it if I get the get the funding. So anyway, so why don't you tell our viewing audience something about you, like school, or whatever you want to talk about?
I went to the University of Montana for broadcast journalism. I graduated in 2011.
2011.
Yes.
Cool.
And then, as soon as I graduated, I got a job at KPAX and MCAT. There was 2 weeks there where I was kind of worried. Some people always are. I guess I was lucky to get the jobs I could get out of college, because most people are scrounging to look for jobs.
And you just
and I found the jobs that actually suited me, but the problem is that I'd have to get up at 3:30 in the morning and be at work at 4 in the morning at KPAX for about 2 years.
You did that for 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, after that, and after I started doing the full-time MCAT thing for a little while, we started the conception of doing our own Wake Up Missoula idea.
So that was your idea?
No, that was mostly Joel's idea. Joel Baird, the general manager here at MCAT, and he wanted to do a morning show. I was like, why don't we just do a morning talk show, whatever. And because he kind of was getting kind of tired of doing the whole What's Up Missoula, because What's Up Missoula was every other Monday when he didn't do
I see, yeah.
Because he did What's Up Missoula every other Monday where he didn't do Missoula Live, which was the live show that we currently do. And I guess the last episode is going to be May 18th? May 18th? It's the third Monday of May would be the season finale of season 3 of Missoula Live.
Okay. Oh, I see.
We do it. It's bi-weekly. It's every 2 weeks we do it.
And then when you created Wake Up Missoula, it was every week.
No, Missoula. No. Yeah, it was Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That's when we started doing Wake Up Missoula. We started off Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We have all the episodes online. You can watch it. you can log on to our YouTube channel and watch all the old episodes. It is hilarious to watch myself young.
I feel the same way when I see myself on the screen.
Like, when we first started doing it, we had our another host, Josh Menny. You knew him.
Yeah, I remember.
You were there during the transition when he was there. He was also doing the whole K-Pax thing early morning.
Yeah, I knew that,
before he became a reporter, and then all that stuff. And then he got a full-time job at Dakota Media Access, which is in North Dakota.
Cool.
I would say it's the better of the Dakotas. Well, it does have Mount Rushmore, doesn't it?
I thought it was South Dakota.
South Dakota's Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, if I understand that correctly, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are we mic'd up right? Because I hear a little echo, so we're doing.
Oh, that's just our sound coming from around here, so it shouldn't affect our sound.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's pretty cool. So that's how you got started here, then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of wondered about that. I never got the chance to talk to you about that.
Well,
so.
actually, I got started working here in 2012. Like, it was January 2012 when I signed the papers and all that stuff. But I volunteered here, kind of like what you did, and did my own shows and all that stuff since 2005.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I started in 2005, so I guess, I was like a junior in high school. So this year in October would be my 10th year ever since I started doing the whole MCAT thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And MCAT just celebrated 25th anniversary. You were here. You played that.
Yeah. I'm waiting for them to hang my picture up there.
Oh yeah, we don't have a picture of you yet. We should have a picture of you. I don't even think we have Emmett, the elderly punk rocker. I haven't seen him on the walls. So yeah, he's been here longer than anyone.
Yeah, 20 years, right?
Yeah, he was here in the very beginning.
Yeah, I can print out a picture. It's on my flash drive. The one with the
maybe we can get maybe we should get just like a nice picture rather than just from the printer.
Well, okay, yeah.
We can go through Kinko's or whatever.
There were two pictures out in the hallway. I don't know what happened.
We can always get. How about we just steal a picture from with you and the mayor?
Oh yeah,
that would be a good one. Because that's the picture you like to use. You wear the white tux. You're hanging out. You're rubbing elbows with the mayor, Johnning. Apparently, you talk to him all the time.
Well, no. We'll see how that came about. I first went to City Hall when I was first doing that Lawrence Welk show. Well, let me do the chronological order. I met you guys July 2014.
Was it 2014?
Yeah, that's when I first came here. July 2014 when I first introduced myself to Joe. I had a friend of mine tell me to come here. And he was giving me information about how to do shows here at that time. Yeah. And the name of Lawrence Welk came up. It just, it was just casual conversation. Joe said something about if you're going to do a Lawrence Welk show, for example, we'll help you film it and blah, blah, blah.
Cool.
And I told him I like that idea. And that very day, I went home and started writing the script, and Joe secured that copyright for it. And then I got familiar with you and Noel and everybody else. And
then we just kind of invited you to play our morning show, and then you decided if you wanted to. And then you said, how would you feel if I played more for all your shows or whatever? It was like, okay. I mean, at the time, I was just thinking to myself, it's like he'll last as long as he lasts, and it's like if he wants to come in, great. But then you become quite an integral part in our Wake Up Missoula tradition.
I have fun with that.
And it's gonna be a year in July, so we'll.
It'll be one. Yeah, and then it'll be a year in August as far as your show. I appeared first time August 4th.
On Wake Up Missoula?
That's correct. It was August 4th.
I thought you came on July.
Well, because we did that Beatles. That was the day before Paul McCartney came.
Oh.
And then a week later is when I got the invitation to do your show more regularly. There was a space in between. August 4th, and it was something like a week when I came back.
Okay, so August.
Yeah, August 4th. It'll be 1 year.
I'll just have to double check because we have all the videos on stock footage. I'm always disappointed because I always remember all the episodes that we could not get on the air for some reason or another. One problem is with going on YouTube is that they're very copyright Nazis. They're very about even if you have a song that sounds something familiar to what's copyrighted already, then they're just no, you're not allowed to put that on, and sometimes they just completely mute it.
Well, the thing is, what makes it work as far as that new segment is if you can see the video clip.
Yeah.
Now, is it possible to see the video clip without hearing the sound?
Yeah, we've done that. We've done that.
I just narrate it 60 minutes or something. Yeah. Because the still pictures doesn't have the same effect.
Yeah, we've done that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe we should do that more often then, I think.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's better if you play the music yourself for as a tribute, because you can play the music on the piano, but you just can't play the music that they copyrighted. That's copyrighted to NBC, CBS, or whatnot.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that'd be fun. I have to just.
I mean, it's fun what we show on MCAT. Like, no one's gonna really like nail us out here on MCAT, public access television. But it's the YouTube. Like, if it goes online, anybody can see it. Anybody can be like, oh wait, this doesn't belong to you. You can't show this.
Yeah, I see.
But even like I have to be careful even with like the trending items. Like I like doing the trending items, but at the same time it's just like you really can't show it.
I know, yeah. Well, Noel mentioned if I just find some older clips like 1930s, maybe 40s, black and white clips, that might work.
Well, yeah, the older clip is fine. But like we've had some flags and some copyright notices for like famous symphony, like Beethoven.
Really? Wow.
Even Beethoven. Like, let's say like you have the University of Montana Orchestra. They play a song by Beethoven at one of their concerts. MCAT films it usually, and we post it online. And then YouTube is like, that's not gonna work. It's just like, no, you cannot do that because Beethoven stuff is not copyrighted. It's public domain, and it was performed by local musicians here in town.
Yeah, well,
and then, so that you can dispute that kind of claims and stuff. But like, hey, you can play any song you want on the piano, and you already do put your own spin on it as well.
Yeah. Well, I was trained to do those tricks
exactly.
and play like that. I trained for a whole year. It was a pianist named Marshall Coswell. He's gone now. And he used to play at the Northern Hotel at that time. And he kept saying, Asaph, I want you to come to the hotel and listen to the piano music. And my first thought was, I don't want to listen to more piano music. And I kept putting it off, and he just kept insisting. So finally I made the decision to go to the hotel, and I watched him while he was playing. I think he played for like 4 hours that night. And then he kept asking me to come back, and I started going back almost every day for about a year.
Wow.
And within that time, he started training me, even though we were at the hotel. You know how to take any popular song and make it sound classical?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I learned all those tricks. And then a year later when he retired, they hired me right on the spot.
Cool.
The hotel did. And they paid me $236 a week just to go into that hotel and just sit in that lobby and play all this background music. While
4 hours a week, 5 days a week?
Well, it started out 4 hours. 4 hours a day for 6 days a week.
6 days a week, and that's four
me,
times 6 is about 20
Yeah, they paid
hours.
me something like that. Yeah, and they paid me $236
$236, and if you did the math correctly, you got 236 divided by 20. Basically, you got $11-12 an hour at the time,
something
which is
like that,
which is a lot. Like how many years ago was that?
Oh gosh, this must have been about 10 years ago at least.
That's a lot of money even then. Like $11-12 an hour.
Yeah, that was.
And that was only like 4 hours a day for 6 days a week, and
yeah.
You probably did other stuff too.
I did, but I mean, for starters, I wasn't living in Missoula at that time.
Right.
And I just thought, okay, I can make this work. So I didn't like go out buying filet mignon and stuff when I got paid. I just got tuna and noodles and cheese and bread and hamburger and just had.
So you saved a lot of money.
Yeah, and I tried to save as much as I could.
Oh, what happened? Why didn't you?
That lasted 7 months, and then the reason that finally ended because they changed hands.
Oh,
the hotel changed
that's
hands.
Usually.
And it was on the news too. It was a big deal, so everybody got. Including myself.
That's always a problem with a lot of change of hands.
Yeah.
Like
this rich guy came in there and just
just recently in Missoula, like there was a huge change of hands. Like Safeway, done, gone.
Yeah, that's what happened at the Northern Hotel at that time. And
then now,
It was sad because it was one guy that was 1 month short of 30 years.
Wow.
And he got the axe on his final month. And I didn't think that was right, but I wasn't in a position to say anything about it.
Well, yeah, my dad was one of those guys who's worked for a place for like over 40 years. He worked for the post office here in Missoula for over 40 years. And you were around during the time when they were cutting like Saturdays and closing down the mail distribution. They closed the one in Kalispell. Mm-hmm. That was a big deal like 2 or 3 years ago, and now the one in Kalispell is like around forever. Like post offices like, and yeah, like yeah. I mean all the even like the whole like automation stuff was a big deal. Like my dad had to learn how to use automation. I think they used to hand sort all the mail when he started, and then they switched to all those mail flattening devices that just scan the letters and they just push them through. And my dad kept his job because he was the line between the computers not knowing how to read the mail, so he had to read a lot of horrible handwriting. Yeah. And he had to differentiate between Brooks and 93 because Brook Street and Highway 93 are the same thing. Yeah. It's like what's that called when two different words have the same meaning?
Yeah, there's a name for it, but I can't think of it off. I'm brain dead right now.
Soliloquy?
Something like that.
I don't know. I'm sure you'll get it. Email it to me. I want to know.
Somebody's probably watching them do that. Yeah. But anyway, getting back to that hotel, that guy lost his job 1 month short of 30 years.
Wow.
And I wish they would have let him work that
sometimes with the change of hands that you lose a lot of your benefits too, like your retirement benefits.
And see, another thing too is he didn't find out when he showed up for work. He had sort of hurt himself just slightly. He had go to the doctor for like a day or two, and so he's at the doctor's office and he finds out he got axed.
Yeah, that's
terrible.
And
it was on the news too, and I felt bad for him. And I showed up with my candelabra, and I didn't even get to flip the piano up, and this man walked up to me and introduced himself and said he was the new manager, and I got sent home.
Wow.
Just that quick. But see, in my case it worked out because about a week later, there was a restaurant called O'Hara's, and they hired me. And so they paid me $150 a week plus tips. Cool. So I made almost the same thing that I would have at the hotel because they wouldn't let me have tips at the hotel. So that was why they paid me $236. They thought it was fair.
Are there what are like some of the opportunities for like a musician? It's especially hard to be a musician, especially like in a place like Missoula, for sure.
Well, yeah, but you got to remember, I didn't start out in Missoula.
I know.
I started out in California. I started in Hollywood actually when I was 20 years old.
Yeah, but why'd you leave Hollywood?
Because I just got tired of the big city life. I got tired of going 5 miles an hour on a 5-lane highway every day. I got tired of the crime, the smog, just everything associated with the inner cities and the big city. And after 30 years.
You just wanted to move somewhere.
I'm getting
kind of like a retirement. You kind of moved here to retire.
Well, eventually I'll retire, I guess. Here, I haven't decided, but I might. Yeah. But I was getting physically older, and I just wanted to slow down a little bit. I mean, gosh, I was playing in Vegas by the time I was 26.
Wow.
I played with Pat Guidry and High Rollers, which you can look it up on the.
On your biography, your autobiography.
I've got all that stuff too. Well, I'll give you a flyover of my career. I graduated when I was 17.
Tell me about let's talk about your jobs. Like, what was it from your first job and just like your job arc?
All right, the first job I got, I was let me see if I can remember. I was 20 years old, and how this whole thing started for me. I had a friend of mine who was a student at Loyola Marymount University in California, at a Catholic school. They didn't have a marching band or a pep band or any kind of band there at that time. And I was staying with him. And my original plan was to go to Disneyland and get a job as a walk-around entertainer because I was still able to play the trumpet at that time. I used to play trumpet a little bit.
Nice.
And I wanted to put on a costume, take this trumpet, and play, walk around. And I failed to get the audition. The very next night, they had a basketball game at Loyola. And when I went to that game, there was no national anthem, nothing. Absolutely nothing. They just started the game. And then the idea came to me, I should take that trumpet and play the national anthem. So I got permission to play the national anthem the very next night, and that's how this whole thing for me started. Even though I knew how to play the piano, they gave me permission to play the national anthem for that basketball game. That turned into playing at all their home games. That turned into playing there for 5 months at that school for their school functions, and then when they won the NCAA playoff that year, they took me to Arizona with them.
Wow.
And so
that was quite a year for them.
That was in the first year.
Do you think their trumpet motivated them to play better?
I don't know, but where I had the advantage is, Arizona State had their band, and Loyola had me by myself, so I could play something off Star Trek, something that a pep band wouldn't play.
Right.
And that's how I got the edge and was able to entertain folks.
Nice.
Now, they didn't win that game, obviously, but and their theme was called The Impossible Dream, that this little school could get into the NCAA playoff. And they did.
Awesome.
Even though they didn't win, and they took me with them as their one-man band trumpeter.
Yeah. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, I mean, I was in the pep band at the University of Montana.
Uh-huh.
And they took me and the pep band to Albuquerque, New Mexico for the NCAA tournament. Then,
oh, you went, okay.
And then I got a chance to, I mean, I was in Albuquerque before the whole Breaking Bad and all that whole, like, big television thing happened there. So I was there before it was cool, so that makes me cool.
Yeah.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And then they took me to Seattle, and then I think my favorite place to go was when they took me to San Jose. Of course, Grizz lost every first round game because they were 16th seed, and they went up against, like, a first seed, second seed, or fourth seed. There's like no chance. It wasn't even really close. But it was still fun because we got to go on a free trip, and like, you know, the athletic department at the university is amazing.
Yeah.
Sure. It was free to travel, and then they gave us like $130 just to do whatever.
I can relate.
Just like per diem, like a great per diem, and it's like whatever, just here, take some money, have some fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, I beat it, my version of it. Well, anyway,
so after your NCAA,
after we got back to the NCAA, the chancellor, his name was Father Don Merrifield. He walked up to me one day and says, "Asaph, we're going to give you a free room on this campus for your work." They gave me free room and board, even though I wasn't an official student, and I did all their functions for that whole 5 months. And there was a student there named Deetra Cannon. And she was friends with Bumps Blackwell, who was Little Richard's manager, and she contacted him and said, "You got to hear this Asaph play." And so she set up a meeting, and I went to his home, and he was still living in Hollywood at that time too. And then after I met him and played for him, and we got familiar with each other, he called me a few weeks later and said, "Asaph, I want to invite you to my home. I'm going to train you, and I'm going to be your agent and your manager." And I studied with him for 3 years. We studied composition, performing, all the other.
It was just all studying. You didn't work or anything.
Well, it was almost like going to school because I didn't get to finish my studies at the conservatory when I was there, and
so it was like a apprentice.
Yeah, that's exactly. And he
was mentor and apprentice.
Yeah, and he was training me. You know how like Mr. Miyagi did Ralph Macchio's character, the Karate Kid?
That's a terrible example.
I know, but that's what it was like. And every day for 3 years, I was studying composition. I can still do it to this day. Chart out stuff, write out stuff, learning how to perform, learning the ins and outs of the Hollywood as far as the performing instead of the classical way, you know, with the symphony and stuff. Because those are two different ways. And so I studied with him for 3 years, and I went home with my family for a while, and I got a call. He had passed away before I came back.
Wow.
To sign this contract that he was preparing. But I knew enough what to do, and so I went to Las Vegas, and I got that job with Pat Guidry, and that's how I got started in Vegas. And I played there for, maybe a year or something like that. And Pat Guidry was headlining at the Riviera, and he had his name on the marquee with people like Tom Jones and Wayne Newton and all the rest of these people. I was sitting up there thinking, man, I can't believe I'm like got a small little part of this. Because I was like this peon, because I was in my 20s, and everybody in that group was like already experienced. They were like in their 40s and stuff. So I was like the baby of the bunch.
Wow. Did you have to pay your dues? And
yeah, I paid my dues with them, with Pat Guidry. Boy, those guys worked you. I mean, I took a job at the Tropicana.
Do you have a story, like, you know, like I heard a couple stories from a couple of the younger new jazz musicians and musicians with the big names, and they tell us that, you know, paying your dues, that they like learning to growl on the trumpet.
Well, no, I didn't have to do all that. See, Pat was known for doing the music with Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, Louis Armstrong, that sort of thing. So basically all I had to do was just mimic some of the lines.
I see.
You know, because I was like way in the background. And all this time I still knew how to play the piano, but he had a band, and you can check out some of his early works there. And that's all he wanted, was just background trumpet, maybe a little improv stuff at that time. And my career took a change after his contract expired, after being there for about a year. And I was going to say, I took a job at the Tropicana, so in the daytime I was given change. I walked around that hotel all day long just as a change person.
Now they don't even do that anymore.
No,
it's all like receipts and...
Yeah, this was what we're talking, 30 years ago or more. And then at night, I went to the Marina Hotel right next door, and I played I was up late. I was tired. But that was fun to do too.
How many hours would you say you worked during those times?
Oh, I must have worked about maybe 6 hours in the daytime, 5 or 6 hours in the daytime. Something like 3 or 4 hours at night, maybe.
Oh,
something like
that's
that.
pretty easy. And what did you do with your free time?
Oh, I went to the Liberace Museum. I walked at the mall. I was like just shopping around, just getting familiar with that strip because Pat played on the main strip instead of the downtown Fremont. And so, and the only reason why I got that was because of him, because he had already paid his dues. He was already working on the main strip there, and I lucked up and got this opportunity to play with him. But then my career took a change because by the time I was 31, I was beginning to get tired of playing in Vegas too. It was good work, but I just didn't like the lifestyle. And I got the opportunity to start playing for the Salvation Army. You know, what they did was they had this red kettle.
Yeah.
And I would take my horn and just play songs, nothing fancy, and raise money. That turned into a 12-year gig for me.
Wow.
I played for them for 12 years, and I got nominated for the California Jefferson Award in my 6th year of playing for them.
I didn't know you worked with Salvation Army.
I did. I played for them.
How much did you get paid?
Well, they only paid me minimum wage, but...
They paid you minimum wage for 12 years?
Yeah, for 12 years.
Wow, you put in a lot of work with them.
Yeah, and this was during the holiday season, and then when I wasn't playing for them in the holiday season, I did other...
Gigs?
Performances, yeah.
Like did you have a band that you...
Not my own band, no. I was always doing other people's stuff in those years.
That's too bad.
I know. And then I got involved in children's television too.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, I
did a show. So that's after Salvation Army.
No, this is during Salvation Army.
Oh, okay.
I did a show called The What If Show, and I played a character named Charlie the Trumpeteer. And it wasn't much of a character. It was, if I had to describe this show, it was sort of like watching Mr. Rogers. You know, it was like adults and children on the show intermixing and stuff. And the most serious show we ever did was when J.C. Dugard, you remember the young lady that was kidnapped?
No.
Well, anyway, she was kidnapped in front of her home. And so we got to actually interview her parents when that first happened.
Wow.
At that time. And of course, she finally got found years later. She's got her own children now and so on. But usually that show was, their premise was, what if this happened to your child, or what if this event happened, what if, you know.
So you guys had lingered around some serious tones as well?
Yeah, every once in a while we had some silly, funny things, but then we'd have some serious stuff too. So I was doing the What If show, and I was doing...
how long did the What If show, how long were you part of that for?
Something like 7 months.
Wow. Because
the producer was trying to launch that off like a regular show too. And unfortunately, I guess with all the other entertainment they had at that time, it didn't work. And I continued playing for the Salvation Army. And then in my 10th year, they sent me to Las Vegas. I made $300 to $400 a day in my kettle. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Yeah, for the Salvation Army. And then by my 11th and 12th year, it was starting to become physically harder for me to do that. Standing out there just blowing and playing all day. And stuff.
So what happened after Salvation Army?
Well, I made the decision. Let's see. I had moved to Montana. After my 6th year playing in California, I moved to Montana, and I did 5 years in Billings, which they can look up. You know, they have the records of that.
5 years in Billings. Wow.
Yeah, and 1 year in Las Vegas. So that's 12 years total. And then I started focusing more on the piano. And when I was in Billings, they hired me to play the Billings Hotel. I played there for 3 years. And all I had to do was just go play in the lobby, and pretty much like I did when I was at the Northern Hotel.
And you can have tip jars and stuff?
Yeah, they let me have all that. Some hotels won't, but some will. And let's see, I played at the Yellowstone Art Museum for something like 7 months, and also the Deaconess Clinic. Well, I think it's called the Billings Clinic now. But it was called the Deaconess at that time. And I went in there in the afternoons and played during the lunch hour for 7 months also. So they kept me pretty busy. And I did some art galleries there. And then I was working on that CD you know about, Lean on Me, Jeannie Marie. The guy that produced it, he and his wife were living in Missoula at that time. They drove all the way down to Billings. And we got permission to use that 9-foot concert grand piano at the school. Not the university, that Montana school or whatever it is. And then I got advised to come to Missoula, and eventually I did. And we finished that CD, and then I started playing at the Doubletree Hotel here, and then what was it, Patti Creek Market, and all this other stuff that I've been doing here, and eventually MCAT. So
yeah.
That's kind of
Nice.
over my entire career in a nutshell.
Cool.
And now I'm getting ready to launch off hopefully that Lawrence Welk show.
Well, yeah.
And the reason that's important to me is because I want that to be my legacy. Think about it. I mean, Lawrence Welk was on for 30 years. Now, I know I probably won't be alive that long. I'm already 56 years old. So
30 years, 86, that's not bad. you walk around like all the time. You get plenty of exercise.
Yeah.
And you don't eat garbage.
Right. No, I try to eat right. I got a really funny diet.
Unless like your family has like a history of like not living that long. I don't know.
Well, it depends. I changed my diet when I was like in my early 30s. I stopped eating white rice, except for maybe on occasion.
Yeah, of course. Like too much of anything is bad.
Yeah.
So you have to diversity is always important.
And I'm probably not going to win a popularity contest, but stuff like Kraft. Have you ever taken a slice of Kraft?
Oh, Kraft cheese.
And melted that.
And it looks
like
plastic.
Plastic, like melted plastic.
Yeah.
And so I like to eat like Tillamook cheese, and good stuff, and wheatbreads and fruits, and I just eat smaller portions of meat, and I drink a lot of tea and things like that. I've been doing that for years.
You hear like all these like doctors trying to sell you like the miracle vitamins, and they say, oh, you're supposed to avoid rye, barley, wheat, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Basically everything that's in beer.
I think everything is probably bad for you if you want to get
down
down to
it.
it.
Yeah.
So I figure I'm gonna die anyway. I'm gonna just eat what I like.
That's true. But then when you get older, like you can't. You can eat whatever you want. It's just your digestion. It gets all weird.
Yeah.
It's easy going in, but it gets harder coming out as you get older.
I know it, and so I try to take care of the temple while I still have it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've had a pretty fun life, and I'm here in Montana now, and I've done the Vegas thing, the Hollywood thing, and there's stuff I didn't even mention. I just gave you a flyover.
Cool.
I did a lot of concerts in those years.
I think this is a good note to end on.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's a flyover of my career, and I hope we can launch off that Lawrence Welk show if I get that funding.
Yeah.
So once again, I want to introduce Scott Ranf. He's the host and the anchor of Wake Up Missoula, and
every Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 to 9.
That's it. And Noel McAvoy is also part of that. And it's a fun show, so tune in and watch it sometime for those who aren't watching it. It's like watching K-Pax to me, is the way to describe it.
There's not much news, so I wouldn't really compare it.
Well, I enjoy
we just talk about like nothing.
Yeah, I enjoy being part of it anyway, so it's fun. So thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, I am Asaph Cafe with Scott Ranf. Until our next show, Marantha.